The 5 questions you have to ask every cash buyer. What's up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, I'm going to break down the 5 must questions you have to ask every single cash buyer. My name is Zach Ginn. I've done over 1,000 wholesaling real estate deals, and I run one of the largest JVing operations in wholesaling real estate. And I've talked to a lot of cash buyers. I've developed a lot of systems for finding the right cash buyers, and most importantly, the right questions you have to ask the cash buyers to really get to the nitty gritty of if this is going to be a good cash buyer for real estate wholesaling. Unfortunately, not every cash buyer is perfect in wholesaling real estate, but if you ask these right questions, it's very, very hard for that cash buyer to be bad. It pretty much, like, to a point, cash buyers can lie, they can do a lot of bad things, but if a beginner asks these basic 5 questions, it's very hard to get a bad cash buyer. And these questions, they are very, very, very vetted. Really, when I look at everything, these are the questions you need to be asking for the most success possible. There's a method to my madness when I ask these questions, and let's just break it down. So before we get into it, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's break this down. So first and foremost, the number one thing you need to ask from a cash buyer is proof that they are a cash buyer. So what is the definition of a cash buyer? A cash buyer is somebody who's willing to buy the property with their own funds. They have their own money, their funds, cash, money in the bank. They have everything in the bank account ready just to buy the property. So we get our assignment fee and everything goes as fast as possible. Did you see here that I didn't say hard money buyer? Did I say person getting a loan? No, cash buyer. They need that cash money in their bank account. And how are we going to find it? Basically a proof of funds. We're going to request a proof of funds. A proof of funds basically is a letter or a bank account statement showing that this person's name or their company has the money in their bank account. The biggest scam I see from gurus out here that's offering funding programs where, let's say you're going to a cash buyer and you say, hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, can I get a proof of funds from you? And his name's John Smith. Of course, my name's John Smith. Here's my proof of funds. You look at the proof of funds. It said, John Smith here is in good credit with John Smith Guru LLC funding loans and has access to this much credit capital with us. Guys, when you see something like that, that is not cash. Proof of funds is, hey, here's a letter from my bank, from like Chase Bank, Citibank, whatever bank, or a screenshot of their bank account showing proof. Not a letter from another company saying they have funding or anything. Guys, if it is not money in their bank account in their name or in a company's name that they are an officer of or an owner of, it is not a cash buyer. Do not deal with these people. These are wholesalers trying to daisy chain you and JV with you. It is not worth it. A lot of people like to skip this little step. They need to have money in their bank account. You're ready to go. So let's say somebody gets funding and it's in their bank account though, and it's all cash, liquid, ready to go, then sure. But the letter needs to be from their own bank account, okay? Not somebody else's bank account, their own bank account or company that they have a bank account of. That's how you know. Number 2 here, you have to ask this cash buyer if they have bought from wholesalers before and if they are willing to work with a wholesaler and understanding that process. Now, that's a long-winded answer and a question, but you have to ask these in this 2-part here for number 2, because first of all, have they bought from wholesalers before? So if they have, you don't really have to explain the process like crazy, because they actually understand the process pretty much, and it makes it a lot easier for you in real estate wholesaling to go out here, get the deal done, and they understand the process. And the second part is, if they understand wholesaling, you have to explain wholesaling, and the number one thing you have to explain here is, hey, I'm getting an assignment fee. I'm a wholesaler. Is this something you're willing to do? Are you willing to buy from a wholesaler knowing I'm making an assignment fee on it? And you can get into other things, like I'm keeping it like 5 important questions. One thing I would add onto this that we do at freewholesaling.com, which is our free real estate wholesaling course, is, are you okay if I made $1 million on this deal on an assignment fee? So if you bought this property, for example, let's say I'm selling it for $150, are you okay if I make a $149,000 assignment fee? Is that something you're okay with? Now, if they say, the right answer is, I don't care how much you make, I just want to buy it for their price, that's fine. Now, if they say, no, I'm not comfortable with you making that much on an assignment fee, I don't do that, that is not a good cash buyer. We're not going to deal with them. That is not somebody we are dealing with. So make sure they understand they're okay with you making an assignment fee. If you do not, you can be making a big assignment fee and they might not like that. And then boom, you lose the real estate wholesaling deal, which we do not want you to do. People are greedy. Sometimes people, they don't like that you're making an assignment fee, which has no thing on the deal. Like I've had $70,000 assignment fees where the cash buyer went on to make an extra $30,000, $40,000. Like it's a win-win. It's a free market capitalism, right? Number 3, you have to say this again. This is kind of something we just said before, but you have to say this one more time. Mr. Cash Buyer, are you okay with following my rules on this real estate wholesaling transaction for me? And if they say, what's the rules, or yes, or I do think it's my way, that could be a problem. You have to explain to this cash buyer that they have to follow your rules. What are your rules? Well, when you go see the property, do a walkthrough, you can't talk to the cash buyer. You're dealing with me. You are my partner on this transaction, and you are my partner. You cannot explain this as a wholesaling deal to the seller and scare them. You have to do my rules here. Another part of my rule is we got to use my title company. These are the people I trust to know, and they'll make it very easy for a wholesaling transaction. And they provide very good, clean title for anyone. It's a very good company. And if they can follow rules like that, you're going to be fine. I know driving around the property after, you have a walkthrough on the day of the closing and one more walkthrough there. Next rule here is like you do one walkthrough and that's basically it. If we have a lockbox, maybe you could do multiple times, but most likely if the seller's in there, we are only having one walkthrough and then you can go the day of the closing to do another walkthrough. Is this something you're okay with? The reason I have these rules is to make sure this transaction goes as smooth as possible. And in exchange, you have to get some value in here. If you're willing to do these rules, you'll be one of the first persons to get sent the deals once I get them under contract. Explain that to a point. Number 4, you have to ask them to, this is a big credibility feature, and this is a new one I've been asking on the JV deals that I do a lot, and I've done a lot for my virtual. In person, I haven't really because I can look this up myself, but you have to ask the cash buyer how many houses have they bought in cash in the past 12 months. This is very important to see if you have a wholesaler daisy chainer. The reason why you're asking these questions is to make sure, first of all, you don't have someone trying to JV the JV deal. A lot of people are in these wholesaling programs where they're all doing JVing and they're lying to you. It's terrible. This is how you kind of like destroy these people. How many properties have you bought in cash the last 12 months? The reason why you ask is if they lie to you, I bought 200 houses in the last 12 months. Great. What's the company name so I can look it up on public records on the 200 that you have bought recently? The reason why you're asking this question is most importantly to see, hey, if this person actually has bought in like 5 houses the past 5 months and they flip them all, this seems like a very good cash buyer. And it kind of validates the proof of funds. Now, the proof of funds is the most important part, but if they can show you they've bought in like 6 houses cash, it gives them more credibility for you. And if they bought it from wholesalers, you can kind of see where the wholesalers are doing deals and it gives you more data. Very, very important question to ask. A lot of the JV people out here, they cannot provide even one. And it helps a lot seeing if someone's a bad cash buyer or a good cash buyer. Number 5 here, this is not a question I ask for myself. This makes it a lot easier for me. So you have to ask the cash buyer, first of all, what they're planning on do on these properties. What is their goal, their end goal? And most importantly, what are they looking for in these properties? Where's their quote unquote buy box? So you want to understand because different cash buyers have different needs. You're selling a product, you're selling a contract. So sometimes I have deals that are completely fire damaged that need the full flip. And that goes to one cash buyer that does like a ton of flipping, a lot of capital intense stuff. I give them a little more discounts on there. And then sometimes I just have cash buyers that are looking for really clean, nice rental properties that pay like a very good amount. And you got to see which type of property it is and which one, because some cash buyers are like, I'm only buying in this county, or I'm only buying in this zip code, and I'm only buying properties under 300,000. I'm only buying properties over 300,000. I'm only buying properties if it needs $15,000 of repairs, or I'm only buying properties if it needs at minimum $50,000 repairs. Every single buy box is different. Some people are just saying, well, if it's a deal, it's a deal. And to a point, you got to deal with that. But like sometimes you actually get that little buy box criteria. So it makes it really, really easy. Every cash buyer is a little different. So that's why it's very important to build these relationships. And then you just got to get their information and then send them over the deals. I personally call when I get a deal on the top cash buyers that I have. Heck, I don't care if it's 30 calls I have to do, but it gives that personal touch. And during these times, you have to be more personal with your cash buyers. Start building those relationships and keep calling around town. And it's going to help you so much more. So these are the top 5 questions you need to be asking your cash buyers. I found when I ask these questions, it destroys a lot of the headaches I found with cash buyers. And yes, This is not a suggestion of, should I ask the cash buyer if they're okay with my rules? No, it's a must. These questions are a must for you to do, because if you don't ask these questions, you could be in a world of hurt. So guys, these are the questions to ask cash buyers. I'm telling you, maybe it's painful asking them, but write them down when you're cold calling cash buyers. If you want to figure out their best way to find cash buyers, just go to freewholesaling.com. It shows you everything you need to know about the wholesaling process from A to Z. And it's a $5,000 course that I give away absolutely for free. So guys, smash that like button and subscribe, and check out freewholesaling.com. Have a blessed one.